The energy war between Europe and Russia is going on for months now, but it looks like EU is the first one to blink. A Bloomberg report shows that European Union might already have started rolling back sanctions on Russian coal and lumber. Actually, EU has updated its sanctions guidelines policy. Under the new guidelines, EU shipping companies and operators would be allowed to ship coal and lumber originating in Russia to third countries. EU is doing so in the name of tackling rising energy costs around the globe. But here is more to see that is not visible to the naked eyes. Countries like Poland and Baltic states have alleged that the new guidelines could allow EU member countries to evade sanctions on Russia. According to Bloomberg, the nations had asked the Commission to withhold publication of the document until the matter was addressed. The fact of the matter is that, in the name of addressing global fuel shortage, EU actually wants to have safe and concealed access to Russian coal and wood to keep itself warm in the coming bone-chilling winters. Although US has tried to represent itself as a viable alternative to Russia, Germany and other European powerhouses are not keen on doing away with cheap Russian pipeline gas. For instance, Germany recently dropped a subtle threat on Washington that US was far away from being a preferred energy supplier for Europe. The reason is simple. USA's LNG is far costlier than gas imported through pipelines from Russia. So, even if US manages to become the top LNG exporter to Europe, it would always be the second best choice purely for economic reasons. Speaking of Poland, irony is striking in this case. Poland vehemently opposes EU's proposed relaxation on Russian coal imports. However, Poland itself is accused of evading EU sanctions and importing Russian coal via the Vistula-Spit Canal. Once ties with Russia get better or things for EU get worse, European nations will shift back to Russia. This is not rocket science, this is common sense. So, the move to revise the sanction guidance policy is a step in that direction only. EU is actually laying the ground for reviving energy trade ties with Russia. In fact, EU already has a Russian offer on its plate. Last week, Putin made an offer to Olaf Scholz while talking on phone that Russia was willing to provide EU with gas should Germany open up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Now, Gazprom, the company operating Nord Stream 2, says that gas will only be provided under long-term contracts. Simply put, Russia will only rescue Europe if Germany promises long-term contracts to Gazprom.